when we align inside in our defense, we call these things triangle keys. Okay? Well, a guy asked me the other day, I was talking to a guy at a high school, and he says, Coach, he says, how come you give your guys keys when you are not a reading team? Good question. I said, because we are a reacting team. So when we react to something, we have to react to a key. So I just boil it down a little bit. So, for instance, if that one technique is lined up in that center, okay, that means that his whole triangle key is from this shade of the center to the outside of the guard, back to the back to the inside shoulder of that guard, back to the center, okay? Now, that's his whole triangle key, even though he's shaded to that one side, okay? So coaches will say, well, how come you line up in that gap, but you're reading the other guys? Well, if the center blocks down, the guard blocks down, and someone pulls across my face, I know I've got to react back. Okay? You have to react back. So I give them the whole triangle. As you get into the core of the thing and you start doing your reads and reactions every day, okay? Bad word, reads. Can't say reads. Reaction every day. Then you will feel how this whole thing will make him react to that play. Okay? Very good concepts. Been used it a long time. Really helps the linemen and linebackers understand all the concepts of playing a 4-3 defense. Okay? I'm giving you all the core, the concepts of a 4-3. You just can't line up in a 4-3 and say, okay, guys, we're going to play a 4-3. Okay? You got to have concepts and alignments and responsibilities when you line up to play a 4-3 defense. Okay? 4-3 defense is based on gap responsibilities. So if you have a certain gap responsibilities, you just can't tell the guy to line up in that gap and play that gap. Doesn't work that way. There's a lot of things involved in putting a 4-3 defense together. So guys have to understand the importance of attacking the gap, making sure that he stays in his gap, and he makes sure that linebacker is able to get to his gap. So the concepts are very easy, but at the same time, it takes a lot of work to make sure you develop. We do a drill I'm going to show you later, okay? We have our inside. I'm teaching you all this because when I show you the film, you'll know what I'm talking about. We go to 4-3 defense, and I'm telling that nose guard, he's got to stay in that A gap. That linebacker is sitting back there banking on him staying in that A gap. If he gets blocked out of that A gap, then that linebacker's in trouble. And what did I say earlier? Our linebackers aren't the biggest people in the world, but they need a little help, okay? So they've got to be able to get to that gap, okay? All right, let's take a look at the 3 technique, okay? We play a lot of 3 technique in 4-3. A 4-3 defense, you will have a 3 technique, okay? How you teach it, to me, is very important. I spent a lot of time on this, okay, with our linebackers and our inside guys. A 3 technique is the core of a 4-3 defense. That's our basic defense, okay? Coach Dan Antonio doesn't give me any special teams responsibility, because I take that time in our special team, when they're going punt and all that stuff, this is our individual time. That's an individual time for me. I take that individual time and I'm working that 3 technique and that 1 technique and that 5 technique and that 9 technique on those triangle keys, okay? So they can get better at them. Just like if you have your team out there, okay, and you're going to special teams, and all those big guys are standing around, you're not doing them an injustice. Let them stand around and take a break, guys. That's the time when they could be learning how to read those keys. We take advantage of all the things. If coach gives us another individual minute, I'll take it. But every time that we're doing special teams, I have my own special teams. Just like when we put our practice schedule, and Mike Trussell put it in, we got 20 minutes of punt. I'm going like, oh, man, that's great. That's 20 minutes of triangle keys for me, okay? I take the ends. Now, a lot of times our ends are involved in special teams. If you got some guys who can run, which we did, and they're involved on the punt team and things, you're probably going to lose them at that time. But at some point in time, you're going to get them back. But have yourself schedule a time to work on those things. It really upsets me when I go to some high schools or some places and I see when special teams going over, I see the linemen just sitting around, okay, not doing anything, okay, taking a blow. Whereas if you got one leader in that bunch, they can read, they can work on the 3 technique. They can read on the triangle key. Just stepping through that stuff, man, it's going to make you a lot better. Getting off the ball, okay? I bought a machine last year. Greatest machine I ever bought. I don't even know the name of it. I know that it's a mannequin with a head on it, and he has shoulder pads on it. He sits on a rack, and he talks, okay? And what you do is that you have a big sign in the middle of it that measures, number one, it measures power, and it measures also how fast he gets off the ball after he says hit, and the light goes off. Okay? There's a big light on there. When that light goes off, that means the ball is snapped. Okay? So when we come off the ball, we measure power. Okay? We measure quickness. Okay? And it really gets our guys in tune to getting off the ball. And that's what we sell a lot. So those guys today, this morning, I tell them, I said, before you do anything, I want 30 hits on that sled. I want 30 hits on that thing to get us to a point where we know how to get off the ball and know how to do and work on our quickness. 4-3 defense, guys. 4-3 defense. We're getting off the ball. But you got to sell those things within a 4-3 defense. So those guys know that the things that we do and the things we work on are predicated on getting off the ball. Those things are the best things I bought. Okay? And so, you know, I have to, every day, I got to make sure that, you know, we're using them because the boss don't want them sitting over there getting cobwebs on it. He think that we wasted our money. So we're working on those things every day. So we got guys clearly are getting better coming off the ball using those things. Okay? Now, again, going back to the 3 technique. Our linebackers are standing in that defense basically based on the formation. They could be anywhere from, we have a Mike linebacker that may be in a 10 alignment, okay? We may have a linebacker based on the formation in a 30 alignment or 40, okay? So we got 3 linebackers to deal with back there based on formation, okay? And gap responsibilities, okay? And the 3 technique and the 1 technique are the most important parts of a 4-3. And that's the reason why everyone has to really work on the core of that defense. Just don't line the guys up in there and say, take the gap. There are certain things involved in taking that gap. You got to be able to play a 3 and a 1. And if you're playing that 3 and a 1 with a lot of good technique, you're going to be a lot better 4-3 team. So again, one of the things we'll do on the inside drill, we'll play just base defense, a 1 and a 3, a 5 and a 9. Just to make sure we understand the concepts of that defense, because there's a lot of technique involved in that defense. Okay? So again, as we look at that 3 alignment, he has a triangle key. It goes all the way from the 3 back to this tackle here, back to the back, all the way back to the center, back there. Okay? And I'll be glad to sit down and go through you guys about the different reads and reactions we get in there with the linebackers and the tackles. Okay? That's the 3. Okay, last one on this one would be 5 technique. Now this is where it gets real interesting right here. Boy, this is, you know, you got some guys out here that, now the 5 technique, okay? What's a 5, okay? Well, you know, we're lining up toe-to-toe in the tackle, okay? And our visual key is the tackle, okay? But his triangle goes from the outside foot of the tackle all the way down to the outside foot of the center, back up to the back, and back to him, okay? Anybody in that triangle, he has to key, okay? If anybody comes into that triangle, he's got to be able to key, okay? Our linebacker knows that, okay? For instance, if this tackle blocks down, like you see here, say he blocks down, and this guy pulls into that triangle, and our defense, we tell our end to spill, okay? Spilling to us means this. Take the outside arm and rip it through the inside of the puller and disrupt all that crap, okay? And make that thing bounce outside to the linebacker that's standing right there, okay? Now, I tell those guys two things. If that guy blocks down and there are two guys coming in that triangle, he's got to get both of them. He's got to disrupt two of those guys. Because if those guys are able to come through that triangle and get outside, then we're going to have some problems in the structure of a 4-3. So we got to make sure we're on the same page when we play that defense. Everybody's got to understand the importance of keeping and bouncing that thing so those things come through. We got to make sure we spill all that stuff. Okay, I'm going to show you some good stuff on that. We used to do that. I took the skinniest guy in the world at Cincinnati, and he bounced that stuff all the way outside, and the linebacker made it look like he made a heck of a play. He's standing up there jumping up and down, and I'm looking at that guy who spilled that stuff. You know, that was a good play. But our guys, they thrive on that. We look for that, okay? When that thing doesn't bounce, something's happened to that 5 technique. Just like when this guy blocks outside, then he's an outside player, and the linebacker is an inside player, okay? So he becomes a C-gap player, and the linebacker becomes a B-gap player when it's stretched like that, okay? So there's a lot of different things we do, but I think it gives us a good chance to play that exactly how we want. But again, 7 technique is taught exactly like a 5 technique. We don't play a 7, okay? We play a little bit 7 this year for a game plan situation. It looked like a 7, but I call it a wide 5. Same gap, same area, okay? Just change it up a little bit. Didn't want to disrupt anything that we have. I just call it a wide 5. His visual key is still the tackle. He still has people in this triangle that he's got a key, okay? But again, it makes it a little bit fun for them when they do that, okay? You can always tell when you got an end that really loves the contact because he loves to spill. When you got those ends out there that's standing out there and maybe sometimes they don't throw that thing in there like they should, then you bring them in and let them look at the film and say, son, this is not going to work this way. You're going to have to really get your meat and bones into this thing to make it spill. And pretty soon they get the idea of making that thing spill to the outside. So that's been real good for us. Real good for us. Last one right here, as far as that look, is that we have what we call a 9 technique. Okay? To me, in our defensive structure, in a 9 technique, we do not flip-flop our ends. Okay? Both of our ends have to understand how to play a 9 technique and a 5. Okay? All right? So when we go out to recruit, we look for a guy who can do that. Now, I've been in situations where we're able to flip a guy. Well, teams, you know, they're on full scholarship too. So if they find your ends flipping around, they'll start trading that guy all over the place, or bring a tackle up in there, you know, and flip a tackle over and take advantage of you. So we make both of our guys learn the 9 technique, okay? The way I teach a 9 and the way I teach a 5 is very similar in the concepts of the reads that we play, okay? The only thing that's different is that he's removed the man further. And the only thing that he has to remember is that he's the outside part of that defense. Now, to keep everything simple as far as reads and reactions, what we do within that defense is that we keep those concepts the same. That tight end was to block down, he would spill it. Okay? Tight end reaches outside, we would stay there. The linebacker inside knows that he's going to do that. Okay? He has the same reads and concepts.